Hello everyone, so we're just going to do my makeup today. I'm going to try priming again using the Miss Seasons Glow Velvet Priming Moisture Cream. I'm just going to take a little bit, just apply this all over. Now I am filming this using my regular camera, not like not through a TikTok app, because we're just going to see how this goes. Also, I'm just curious to see how if I can maybe make this primer work for me. Because, okay, I tried this primer the other day. I was not happy with the way my makeup looked after using it. So I tried it on Monday. Yeah, Monday. And I was not happy with the way my makeup looked after using it. I will just add just a touch more, like of a pore blurring primer right in here. Just to be safe. Because, okay, so this primer, it says it's supposed to blur your pores, create like a nice tacky base, but also heavily moisturize your skin. I did not notice that, at least when I tried it. Now again, maybe I'm delusional. Maybe I'm a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Don't know. I'm going to now just go on top with a little bit of the Skintific Radiance Booster Serum Spray. This has Bifida Ferment, Equitin, and Centella Asiatica in it. It's supposed to hydrate, soothe, and provide a radiant skin. It's a bi-face, so you gotta shake it up real good. And then spray the shit out of your face. They say you can just let it sit there or just slightly press it in. I will obviously be pressing it in slightly, and we will go from there. So as I said earlier, especially if you follow me on TikTok, because this video is also gonna go up on YouTube, so hi YouTube. I received another one of these Skintific cushion foundations. This is the Skintific Cover All Perfect Cushion. I have the shades 28 and Oat, 22 and Shell Beige, and now 29C Taupe Beige. So I want to use these shades. I'm gonna grab my sponge. 1 second, actually. Let me try this again. Okay, so I had to bring out my sponge because I thought I did already. I didn't. I'm lazy. Okay, so I'm going to actually just take the sponge. You know what? No. First, I want to use a little bit of the Juvia's Place Hydra Tint Foundation Sticks, especially the shade 21 Aberdeen. This is their lightest shade. And just kind of use it here. Almost as if as my cream highlighter in a sense. So where I would like to highlight, I'm going to put this foundation. I mainly want to try this because, one, I have a few of these foundation sticks. I do like them. I think I have a total of 5 right now, because I do like them, but I want to try them in the future for potential drag makeup. Can I use it to contour, bronze, highlight, all that? I'm going to go in with 22N, and I'm just going to use my my sponge. Okay, so 22 is a touch lighter. I say that lovingly. I'm being nice here. I'm also going to apply it on both sides just so that way it matches. And And, okay, we're going to actually go in with a deeper shade. Well, let's just try 28. Because I don't know, I think 29 may be too dark. But I was out in the sun a lot yesterday. And I did get a tan, as you can clearly see. So, it's hard to say. Yeah, 29 probably would work. It's fine. God invented cream contour, so we're good. We're good. I can just contour and bronze and make this shit maybe look right. But it's okay. I'm just going to use it and just blend, blend, blend and make this shit hopefully look okay. Yes, I am putting it on my eyelid. It's fine. But you can see what I'm saying. So this is the full coverage version. I also have their matte, which is in a blue case. And then their the pink one, which is more of a glowy finish, are the Skintific cushions. And definitely 100%. Okay, this is not my shade at all. Jesus. We're going to use Hydra Tint Stick. This is a shade 12. Let's see if I can start bronzing my face a bit with this. Consider this diet drag, just the amount of coverage and product I'm going to be applying to my face like crazy right now. Just to try and make this work. That looks a lot better now, actually. Okay, this was the shade 12, Addis Ababa. I don't know. I'm truly sorry. I keep trying to say names of brands and products or whatever, and it never works. But I still keep trying, knowing damn well I'm not going to be able to say it correctly. Ever. Okay, so 22 and 28 are a touch like that, or I really just fucked up with the application. I do truly think, though, I used the wrong shade, so that's very much a me issue. But when I requested the shades, because obviously free sample, I request the shades. The colors, like 22 looked like it would be close, but I was like, it's more like my winter shade. But again, it said neutral, so I figured it wouldn't be as yellow. But I'm not that mad. I'm going to use some concealer here just to brighten again, right in this spot. Because when I do my makeup, I prefer a very bright under eye. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm delusional. But if I can have a nice white, bright under eye, I want it. Because I feel like it does help my makeup look nicer. Personally. Let me grab my cream contour and everything, because it's not next to me and I thought I grabbed it. So one moment. Okay, here we go. So I'm using the Made by Metro Curve case. This is the medium one. I'm going to use a little bit of the bronzers in the shade Rich and Rosy and Teddy Bear. So Rich Rosy, Teddy Bear. And just apply, just to start making this a little bit more bronzed for starters. I also love using Rich and Rosy, this shade, because of how red it is. it does almost double as a blush, in my opinion. I know someone's going to say, no, politely, it's makeup. You can use it more or less however you want. As Robert Welsh has said many times, there are no rules to makeup, but there is a theory. So, as long as you are trying to abide by said theory, realistically, you're fine. Because it all just mainly comes down to color theory at the end of the day. In my opinion, do you understand color theory enough to achieve a certain look, idea, whatever? And I'm going to use a little bit of caramel drizzle right here, this contour, just to add just a touch more definition. I'm using the same brush, that way it kind of blends in with the bronzer more. And there we go. We can see, like, more definition. Which is what I would prefer. Because when I don't have, like, a good amount of cheek definition, I do kind of look a little crazy. My face does start to give egg after a while. Especially when my makeup is not the right shade. Because, tee-hee-hee, I always suck at color matching. You would think after doing my makeup for so many years, I'd be better at color matching my foundation and shit. No. But again, as I stated, for the cushion foundations, it was a free sample request on TikTok. So, like, it's not like I can easily see in person what they look like or what the colors are going to look like once used. I had to truly go off of a picture. And as many of us know, pictures on the internet can lie. I'm just doing a little bit of contour in around my face and nose, obviously. Around my face and nose, my eyes and nose. I'm not trying to make it perfect, but I just want a little something something. And I'm going to use a little bit of the blush from this palette as well. I'm going to use Sweet Cheeks and Peach Sugar, these two. And I like to place my blush, especially when it's a pinky color, really close to the eye, right here. And then start to blend down into the bronzer a bit more, but also lift up. Now, obviously I used a lot. I'm going to blend it out and make it look right in a second. But I am going to add just a touch of cream highlighter on top. The Melt Cosmetics liquid highlighter in the shade Peaches and Cream. I'm just going to add a touch of that on top. And that will help soften the blush and bronzer just slightly. And then additionally, actually no, first let me beauty sponge. Just clean this up. Just clean this up. Okay. And now, I'll take a little bit of this. This is, I think, one of my favorite shades by them. Though they do have a very light pink shade. I really want to try. Yeah, I'm just going to take like a big brush like this. This is the Real Techniques 300 brush. Yeah, 300. I forget what line this was. I'm just going to place it right here. A little bit on the brow bone as well. Because even though I'm going to set my face with powder, I have noticed this liquid highlighter does retain a lot of its sheen, even when powder is placed on top of it. Which again is partly why I like it. The big thing I will suggest is when you are highlighting, again, something I learned from Robert Welsh, move your face around to see where the light hits and apply there. That way you know you are truly getting it on the high points and in the, you know, right spots when highlighting. I just bring it down really on top of the entire blush and cheek area. Yeah, I know, I look a little crazy. It's fine. You gotta trust the process. All my makeup looks wild initially until it doesn't. It's just one of those things where you gotta trust the process. Give me a second, I'm going to go set my face off camera. The reason I'm gonna do it off camera is because it's a fucking mess. I'm not trying to powder the camera that much, so one moment. Okay, and we are back. Took a little bit, there was a break. One, I set my face. Two, my phone, aka camera, decided to overheat, so it's gonna be one of those weeks. But I'm gonna be using these two eyeshadow palettes today. The Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions palette, the original one, not the purple. I have that, I'll probably use that later another time. And then the Noir Corn Blight Moon palettes. Because I really want to play with some more, some of the fun green colors in here with this. So yeah, what I'm probably going to do actually is create one eye, like do one eye off camera. Then I'll come back and show you like how I achieved it. Like the full tutorial. So I know, I'm sorry, I'm only back for like a minute or so before we do this. But yeah, I just wanted to say that's what I think I'm probably going to do real quick. Because then it also gives me time to figure out the exact look I want to do. I do think I want to use this shade, Gilded, this white color, this white multi-chrome as like an inner corner highlight and brow bone highlight. But also you can still see, like, there's still, like, a bit of a sheen from where the Melt Cosmetics liquid highlighter is. And, yeah, we'll be right back. Okay, so this is the final eyeshadow look. That's what I'm going for. So, what I'm going to do is obviously show you how I achieved it. First, grab your About Face Fluid Eye Paint. Now, you don't have to use the exact shade I'm using, but I like using the eye paints as like a nice little eyeshadow base because they don't really budge, crease, anything like that. Once it's laid down, that shit's there forever. I've said it a dozen times in like almost every eyeshadow tutorial I've done. But this is just a preference. But I'm using the shade Capulets, mainly because it is also, it kind of reads like my skin as well. So if I don't want like a bold color underneath, I use this. because it looks as though it is my skin. Now we're going to just take a, there it is. I'm blind, I'm sorry. A fluffy brush and go into the Blight Moon palette and grab the shade Bile Thorn. Load it up. I'm just going to take this shade and literally apply it everywhere. Like under the eye already, everything. Because we're just going to create the eye shape from Bile Thorn. So literally just apply this shit everywhere. So load it up, pile it up, make it nice and big. But because it is like a slightly darker shade, so it's not like that bright acid wash green, it does make a nice transition shade for me and what I want to do in terms of this eye look. And I'll take another fluffy brush, this one, and we're going to take the shade Lumen, which is right next to it, which is more of like a yellow green. And buff the edges on the top. Okay, birds are just going crazy outside today. I have to have the window open right now because it's really hot. And if I want to film right now, I had to have the window open because I can't have like 900 fans or the AC, anything like that going. Or it's just going to ruin the audio quality. So it's just like right now I am suffering. But I was like, I couldn't see what bird it was, honestly. But anyway, just put Lumen in these spots. So as you can see, it already looks a lot brighter and more. Okay. Take a flimsy, fluffy brush, kind of like this. And we're going into the Smoke Sessions palette and grab a little bit of the shade Space Queen. Knock off the excess and start applying on the outer corner. And build up slowly. Okay? I say slowly because I'm gonna get a little bit more comfortable because I need to lock in. Darker eyeshadows are not that forgiving. Let's be honest, they are not. It's one of those things where they're one of those types of shadows where basically you put too much on. If you aren't able to blend it just right to make it, you know, look right, you're kind of screwed. So it's always easier with a dark shadow, especially a Melt Cosmetics shadow. Let me make that also clear. Melt Cosmetics makes very, very pigmented eyeshadows. So you want to blend slowly and easily and just take your time. So sometimes grab your brush that you used to apply Bile Thorn and just blend the edges. I'm going to take a little bit here on the inner corner. I'm actually going to grab this little brush. It's a smaller, more dense dome brush. I'm going to grab a little bit of Wrathwood as well from the Blight Moon palette. And just slightly stamp it in. Now, it doesn't need to be perfect because I'm going to take a little bit of like a concealer eyeshadow primer and cut this more into an appropriate shape that I want. So don't worry, I'm now going to add just a little bit of Space Queen and Sour Diesel. So mix the two just to deepen more and add some more of that like more browny, more of a brown shade. As Sour Diesel is more of a brown green compared to more of a like rich green, if that makes sense. As you can see, Sour Diesel, Space Queen. This is a green, but it's far more brown based than anything. Or you could say it's a brown with a lot of green. Either or. I am sorry for that. Take your eyeshadow primer. Back of the hand. Because now we have a shape I more or less want. Brush. And just start applying. And just create the shape you want. I am using the Juvia's Place Eye Prep Eye Prime eyeshadow primer in the shade 1 for this. It is one of my favorites, especially for doing something like this. And I'm just going to take a big fluffy brush, like a dense dome brush, and grab my Carslan pressed setting powder. Load up the brush and just stamp it in. I just like to do this because, one, it does help make the shadow last longer, but two, I don't want that primer to crease because I'm not really using it as a primer. I was more using it again as like a concealer type. Let me just cut the shape how I want it, if that makes sense. So now for our shimmer, I'm going to take a little bit of the Milk Hydro Grip Eye Primer, smooth this shit everywhere, and just apply it everywhere I'm gonna want the shimmer. So just blend it out where I want the shimmer to be. And take a flat, dense brush, like a shadow packing brush. I'm going into the shades Mean Green right here and Sweet Tooth. I mainly want more Sweet Tooth than Mean Green, but I want a nice blend of both. And just put this shit all over in this area. Again, don't worry if it looks a little messy. We'll go blend. But, oh, we have this space. That's where we'll take the shade Chimeweed from the Blight Moon palette. And just apply it in here. Looks good. Now, also from the Blight Moon palette, final shade, and then we're basically done. We'll take the shade Gilded on a little flat brush and load up the brush, because we're going to put it right in here underneath the eye and start sweeping it into the inner corner. Because as you can see, just by putting that on, my eyes just look like it's glowing so much more. which is also why I love the shade Gilded. I do want to say it's more of like a cream than a powder. It has a similar consistency to like a Super Shocks shadow by ColourPop, if that makes sense. And just load it up. I want a good amount in this spot. And right up in here as well. And that is the eyeshadow tutorial. That is the eye look. So give me just a second to put on some mascara primer and we will do the face. So I'll be right back. Okay, so eye primer's on. I did put a little bit of a lip balm, lip serum on, just to hydrate my lips before I go in with lip liner and stuff like that. So first I'm actually going to use a little bit of the Essence Matte Bronzing Powder palette and use a little bit of these two shades. And just put a little bit on. I always like doing my bronzer first. But I also like to do all my powder stuff, like my bronzer, blush, highlight, and everything after my eyeshadow. I know someone's probably gonna hate me and be like, no, you should do all that first before your eyeshadow. I don't care. This isn't a right or wrong. It's just this is what I prefer to do. And that's literally it. I will use a little bit of the Patrick Ta cream powder bronzer from this duo. Just because like I do need to use it again. And I will say like I wasn't overly impressed. This is the She's Bronzed shade. So this has a cream contour right up here and then a powder bronzer. I'm just gonna be honest, I was not impressed with either. Also, like if you look at the powder bronzer, it's hard panned already. This is the 4th time it's hard panned. So like that's another reason I'm like I don't use it that often, because like I'm tired of having to every 3 to 4 days, you know, like not really, but you know what I mean, like every couple months or like weeks or whatever, having to scrape a decent amount of product off because, you know, the top hard panned. And I know this is something that can happen with any product. I'm very much aware. I have quite a few products, like powder products, like MAC Studio Fix powder foundation, stuff like that, that have done something similar. But not to like this level of like it happens so consistently, if that makes sense. Or I'm having to, you know, clean up the hard pan mess at least every other month when I was using it consistently. Now I'm like, I just don't use it as much. I'll use like the Essence powder bronzer palette, or how even my Give Me Glow Cosmetics powder bronzers. I love those more. It just, I'm using it just so I can finish it. Because like, this is what hurts me, because like the packaging is pretty. The cream contour's okay. I feel like it was slightly warmer than I would prefer. I want it more cool toned or just neutral. To me, at least on me, this cream contour looked a little red. It looked too red, but still. I'm going to use this NYX powdered blush. This is the Buttermelt blush in the shade Butter Than Before. Take a little bit on this brush, knock it off. And I'm just going to apply it back here. A little bit further back. Knock off the excess, again, apply it further back. And I'm going to now grab the Flower Nose Beauty Strawberry Cocoa Series Embossed Blush in the shade Berry Mary. This beautiful shade. And apply this here. More near like the apples of my cheeks, the front, close to the eye. A little bit of blush on the nose. Not bad. And then finally, final blush product, because I love blush, but I'm going to use the Fenty Cheek Suede. Yeah, Fenty Cheeks Suede Powder Blush. This is the shade Water Brat. So the first brush I used before for blush, and we'll take it again because I love this like flat, the way it is, kind of like flat. Apply it in there. Knock off the excess. And again, right on top of where I put Berry Mary. This is going to act as like our first highlighter as well, since it is a very... This is one of their powder blushes that has a shimmer to it. And then just take your bronzer brush and just blend it all together. And if it still looks a little whatever, like in the front, take your powder puff and just... Okay. Highlighter, I'm going to use two. I'm going to use Fenty Trophy Wife and Give Me Glow Cosmetics Pink Moscato Wasted. So, first I'm actually going to go in with Trophy Wife, if I can open it. I always struggle with opening this highlighter. Oh my gosh. One. There we go. I swear I'm not stupid. I'm not weak. I don't know what is about this one in particular. Maybe I just have a bad one. Or like, God just doesn't like me. This one just never wants to open for me. We're going to take a little bit and just tap it in right up here. On the brow bone as well. Light swirls, light swirls. Brow bone. On the cheeks. Tap it in. Tap it in. Light swirls. Light swirls. You can already see, like, it gives the cheeks just a beautiful little glow, which I appreciate quite a bit. Tip of the nose. And now Pink Moscato Wasted. This is a beautiful shade has pink, has a bit of like a gold in there as well, which is why I like to use these shades together. However, this highlighter is very powdery, very pigmented, so you will need to like knock off the excess. But I love to layer it because then you get more of that gold, which especially with the way my eyeshadow is, because I have lumen and everything, it works beautifully. But because of the pink, it works with the blush I have on. So pretty. This is the epitome, I will say, Give Me Glow Cosmetics highlighters are the epitome of 2016 highlighter craze, where we were all looking like a goddamn lighthouse. We had a fucking strobe light on our cheeks. The Give Me Glow Cosmetics highlighters are the epitome of that. So if you miss that highlighter craze, you know, if you want 2016 makeup and you want to just look like a glowing lighthouse, check out these. Now, they have changed the packaging. It doesn't look like this anymore. This is like their original packaging for their highlighters. But yeah. Give me just a second to tidy this up, do my brows off screen, and I will show you the true complete finished makeup look, lips and all. So one moment, I'll be right back. Okay, so makeup is officially done. My brows are done. I used 4 different products. So I used the Urban Decay Brow Blade in the shade Brown Sugar, just to start sketching out a shape. Filled it in more with the REM Beauty Brow Pencil in the shade Auburn. I went over it first with the Got2b Glued Gel 2-in-1 Brow and Edge Gel, just to again hold it down before touching it up finally with the Gimme Brow Plus in the shade 3. I think it's the Gimme Brow Plus. I don't know. As you can tell, I've used it so much, like, it's coming off. But that was my brows. For the lips, I used... Sorry, spider. That's just scared me. I used 3 different lip liners. So I first went over everything, created a shape, the darker color, with MAC lip liner in the shade Cork. The brighter pinky tone right here, like this color, is this lip liner. I do not know the brand's name. Like, I don't know what that name is. It doesn't even have like a shade name, but it's this. And then for like this inner part, where it's really light, it's ColourPop BFF Liner, shade like BFF 1. So their lightest version. Now I'm just going to add 2 different products on top. A lip velvet, and then a little bit of a gloss. So this is the Timeforia Nebula Lip Velvet in the shade Aurora. I like this because even though I put like the pink down, you can still see it like peeking through. So my lips just have a ton of shape and dimension. Obviously, I did overline my lips. I'm not going to deny that. I did. You can clearly see I did. And then this is the Timeforia Lunara Frost 3D Lip Gloss in the shade Dunara 012. And I do like this gloss just because of how like rich and cool toned it is. Again, you still see the pink, which I like. Because again, the pink kind of pulls in with the blush, my hair, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, no, I'm very, very happy. What do you guys think of this final makeup look? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Yeah. And obviously, again, I'm filming on my phone, like my phone camera, not through TikTok. So you can clearly see, like, my skin texture and everything a lot better. See, I am human. It's not like what TikTok tries to show when you use, I've noticed when you use their camera, where you just look very overly blurred. You look a little fake. But yeah, this is the final makeup look, guys. Thank you for coming along with me on this wild tutorial journey. I hope you all have a safe and wonderful day. I love you, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.